Ms. Low Yen Ling, People's Action Party Member of Parliament for Chu Kang GRC, published a Facebook post on 8 January responding to allegations by the Progress Singapore Party that their members and volunteers were harassed during an outreach activity on 4 January in Bukit Gombak. While Low's post sought to refute these claims, a closer examination reveals several inconsistencies and raises questions about the validity of her account. Low, who is also chairperson of the Mayor's Committee and Mayor of South West District, alleged that PSP twisted the truth regarding the encounter, claiming that PAP volunteers were harassed and even physically assaulted by PSP members. However, evidence available in the form of photos and videos posted by PSP challenges this account. Photos and videos from PSP showed the men in question were not wearing the PAP's official white uniform or any attire identifying them as part of a PAP outreach team. When confronted by PSP members about their actions, these individuals did not identify themselves or clarify their role. This silence is inconsistent with Low's claims that they were part of a legitimate outreach effort. It also raises questions about how the PSP team could have harassed them specifically for being PAP volunteers, as their affiliation would not have been known. It was instead the online citizen that identified these male individuals as members of the PAP. This connection was made by referencing Low's own photos from the PAP's 70th anniversary event last year. Despite the serious nature of her allegations, Low did not provide any videos or photos to substantiate her account. This contrasts sharply with PSP, which uploaded clear evidence of the interactions. The photos shared by PSP depicted men, later identified as party activists through Low's previous public posts, following PSP members and taking videos of them. None of these images supported Low's narrative of harassment or assault. Photos showed the alleged PAP volunteers posing for photos while PSP members took Wi-Fis, appearing unperturbed rather than distressed. If the PSP volunteers' actions were truly distressing, one would expect the PAP volunteers to turn away or avoid having their photos taken. This directly contradicts Low's claims that her volunteers were taunted or felt threatened. Low's post also mentioned two male PAP volunteers, referred to as Male Volunteer 1 and Male Volunteer 2, who were allegedly slapped, taunted, and forcibly pulled for photos by PSP members. Yet this claim raises significant doubts. Low admitted they considered filing a police report, but decided against it, a puzzling decision given the PAP's history of escalating even minor transgressions into legal action. If her volunteers were truly assaulted, the lack of a police report undermines the seriousness of her allegations. In contrast, it was a PSP volunteer who filed a police report, standing by her claim of being harassed, including having a phone held directly in front of her face. No evidence has been produced to corroborate the claims of physical assault or derogatory language used against PAP volunteers. Given that the alleged behavior occurred in public and involved multiple individuals, the absence of documented proof is questionable, particularly since it is evident that these individuals had their own devices and likely recorded the events. Videos from PSP showed the individuals, whom Low described as victims, actively following PSP members and recording them. This behavior appears inconsistent with Low's portrayal of the PAP team as passive participants in the incident.
It's following me all the time, okay? And I think, well, anyway, it's friendly competition. As much as I don't like to do this, but I think I just want to take it as a matter of record that I'm on the ground with Progress Singapore Party, and we have this gentleman and his team of team members following us all the way in Goodwill Gardens. Thank you very much.
Even when questioned, these individuals did not identify themselves or state that the PSP volunteers had engaged in any of the behaviors alleged in Low's Facebook post. Furthermore, the PAP volunteer in black was previously spotted following the PSP team in November last year, clearly indicating that this was not a matter of coincidence. Notably, Low made no mention of this in her account, as the male volunteer would likely have spoken up if PSP volunteers had been stalking him instead. Low's post has drawn criticism, with many questioning the lack of evidence to support her claims. Some commenters who sought clarification or requested that a police report be filed were reportedly blocked from her Facebook page. This has led to allegations of suppressing dissent and avoiding scrutiny. Low's Facebook post appears to misrepresent the events of 4 January, as her allegations are not substantiated by any evidence. In contrast, PSP's photos and videos, included in this article, directly contradict her claims of harassment and assault. The evidence shows that the individuals described as PAP volunteers followed PSP members, did not identify themselves when questioned, and displayed behavior inconsistent with being victims of harassment. Furthermore, photos from a prior incident in November reveal similar behavior, undermining claims that this was coincidental. Without credible evidence, Low's post risks being perceived as an attempt to manipulate public perception and shift the narrative away from PSP's documented allegations, aided by mainstream media amplifying her baseless claims. Actions such as deleting critical comments, banning accounts that question her story or request more evidence, and presenting an unsupported narrative further deepen these concerns. Given the seriousness of her allegations, if Low possesses additional evidence, such as CCTV footage from the lift where she claimed her volunteer was slapped, it is imperative that she produces it. Failure to do so not only weakens her account, but also risks undermining her credibility and reputation as a public figure.